Hello again, I am back, Charles Vasallo here at Nutrition 101 by Charles, and of course on Instagram at JazzOCRAthlete, and of course you can find me on Facebook at Health, Nutrition, and OCR. So, it's been about a year since I made my first video, and I think my second video was basically the 2017 EWG, Environmental Working Group, the Dirty Dozen, right? Which is basically the fruits and vegetables you can find most that has the most residue of pesticides, or the amount of pesticides they put in, the type of pesticides they put in, and herbicides and fungicides. So if you're not buying organic of these specific products, you're in trouble. I would say make the adjustment, make the move with at least the food that are on this list. So let's go into that right away, and with no further ado. And thank you again for watching, and please, click that share button, because this is definitely really good information for all families and friends and anybody you know trying to live a better quality of life and change their diets and things like that, and just live healthier and have a gut flora. Because if you take all these pesticides, they're basically just little portions and injections of poison, basically, right? It's just slowly killing yourself. It's just not all in one shot, but you are killing yourself when you eat these pesticides, right? So let's go right into it. So this is 2018, just a quick overview of what Dirty Dozen is. This is 2017 in comparison, and of course this year I also have 2018, the Clean 15, right? But we'll get into that. And I have some stats here. It's just too many to remember, but I'm gonna write look down and take a look at the paper and tell you what's about it, a little bit about each one. So strawberries is number one again for 2018, also number one in 2017. All right, it's probably because they're so porous, and I guess they're sweet, so they attract a lot of bugs. So, they're sprayed, and it's 90 something percent of them were found with pesticides in them. A third or more had at least 10 pesticides or more. There were a few samples that had like 20 up to 22 pesticides on one sample, and that's after being washed. All right, I know a lot of people say they're not consuming it if they wash it, but that's not true. So keep that in mind. Strawberries, stay away from them. Unfortunately, they are very expensive when they're organic. If you get them now in the summer, you can get them fairly cheap. You can get them for like $3 for an organic strawberry. Otherwise, don't eat them. I buy them frozen during the off season, and then just put them in my smoothies that way. And basically, I just don't eat the fresh strawberries. If they're not organic, it's not worth it. So I know if it's your favorite, unfortunately, it has to go if it's not organic. All right, spinach. This is another one. It's also number 2, and it's also repeat from 2017. All right, there's a reason for that, because 97% of the spinach found, conventional spinach, non-organic, had permethrin in it. And I believe permethrin is the same ingredient they use to kill lice, I believe, right? So if you want like lice killing ingredients, then go with the spinach, non-organic spinach. Great thing about spinach is that in its organic version of it is not that much more expensive than regular spinach. It could be maybe $1 more. So that's definitely worth it. Shop around. You can go to Trader Joe's, you can go to like Stop and Shop, you can go to all these different stores and find organic spinach. Sometimes we have these like food zones where these food droughts, what they call, areas where you can't get healthy quality ingredients or food options. Unfortunately, that does happen. You just have to go outside of that area to try to find these things. All right, again, not that much more expensive than regular spinach. Nectarine is also number 3 for 2 years in a row. I mean, honestly, I don't know the appeal to nectarines anyway. It's just a hairless peach. I don't really care. I'm not missing out on them. Are you? Nectarines, right? Who cares? But anyway, the 94% of them were found with 2 or more different pesticides. So there's really high percentages in these of the conventional crop that has pesticides in it. As far as how many of them, that varies, but it's just the percentage of them are going to be up here. The high percentage of them are going to be in this top list here. Okay, apples for the second year in a row. You can see these arrows are showing that it's the same year. It's the same spot at number 4. And apples also contains diphenylamine, right? Which is the short for that is DPA. And that's a banned substance. It was banned in Europe. I think it was banned here in the United States too. But anyway, this is in charge of destroying ecosystems. It's a horrible, horrible thing because it stays around for a long time. It stays around for a while. And it's really bad for child development and their neurological function. So really not something you want to give your kids. Unfortunately, apples, I mean, I love apples. They're one of my favorites, especially Honeycrisp apples. But I won't eat them if they're not organic because 90% of them were found with pesticides, 90% of the samples, and 80% of them had the DPA, which is the diphenyllamine or something like that, right? It's really hard to say. So if it's really hard to say, why would you want to eat it, right? So unfortunately, you gotta wait for apples to be in season again to get the organic ones for a decent price. Honeycrisp are very expensive, so that's why it's expensive for me, but it might not be for you. You can get simple Gala apples for organic and it might not be so bad. You go to Whole Foods 365, they have some cheaper versions of it, and Trader Joe's. Shop around, it's out there, but apples, unfortunately, they're pretty expensive when they're organic, so just have to know that. You gotta have to play the field a little bit, see what you can take away, what you can add, just to get that organic option. All right, so we have grapes. They're a little switching around here, but grapes was number 5 this year and number 8 last year. And 96% of the grapes found had at least 5 pesticides, at least 5. So that's horrible. And grapes, honestly, I can't even find freaking organic grapes in my area. And you know, I can get a lot of good options. I have good stores like Fairway, and I have a Whole Foods, and Trader Joe's not that close by, but I can get there. And I don't see organic grapes really very often, or if at all. So, and they're expensive to begin with, right? So just know that that's going to be a little bit on the pocket to get organic versions. I just stop eating them. All right, so there are a lot of fruits I just stop eating, and vegetables I just don't eat if I can't get the organic version. Peaches, all right, they jumped up to 6. They were down at number 5 last year, and 99% of the peaches found had at least 4 pesticides, right? So peaches and nectarines are basically in the same family. There one study that showed me that 99% of the nectarines had pesticides, but here it says that 99% of the peaches and only 94% of the nectarines. So I'm not quite sure really how to take that, but either way, stay away from them, because if you can't get them organic, you're definitely going to be eating bug spray. Okay, so next one we have cherries, and that's number 7. They used to be number 7 in 2017, and those come at least 5 pesticides on cherries were found on all the samples. Okay, and 30% of them had a banned substance that causes cancer. Well, there are a lot of things that cause cancer, but we can get into that in another video on what causes cancer and why does it cause cancer. So you have to know a little bit about biology and the cells and things like that, but I try to leave all that stuff out and just kind of get to the basics, the fun stuff, the easy stuff to know. All right, next one is pears. All right, so 50% of the pears had at least 5 pesticides. They were number 6 last year, now here they're number 8. And the reason why we don't really want to eat pears is because they also use fungicides to store the pears. And humans have never been tested to deal with fungicides and pesticides together in one sample. And we eat this all the time. So we're basically the guinea pigs. We're the test rats, because they're not testing it on anybody as far as like how they react to it. So we have to see what happens down the line, but pears, all of them included pesticides and fungicides. So that's that. All right, tomatoes at number 9, used to be number 10. So there's a little switching around here, but not much of a difference. And I would say 3 to 4 pesticides on all the tomatoes, and one sample had at least 15 different pesticides. All right, so tomatoes, not that much more expensive if you get them organic, if you can find them organic, but that's another thing I love to eat, and I always try to find good deals. I shop around a little bit. I might not go just to one store. I just try to get them where they would have them organic and a decent price. All right, next one we have celery. That's a no-brainer, because that is not expensive at all. And celery is a really good vegetable to eat. It's insoluble fiber, right? It's also very thermal, heats the body up because our body has to work so hard to break it down. So the hotter our body gets, the more we burn fat. So celery is a good nighttime snack, or with your dinner. Just if you're doing intermittent fasting, it's definitely used to with your dinner at the end, and that'll help. Not so expensive at all, and the organic version of it, again, I go to like things like Costco. I get like the big packs of them, organic celery, and I just munch on those with some almond butter and some peanut butter whenever I get a chance, right? Celery, no brainer. Next, we have 11 the potatoes, and potatoes were 12 last year, and potatoes had more pesticides by weight than any other sample here. I didn't get specific numbers, it didn't give me one, but that's what this says. It has more pesticides by weight, and potatoes are pretty heavy, so you know, take that how you want to take it. Next one is bell pepper. That sweet bell pepper, I'm assuming it's going to be the red and yellow and orange and the green, right? It doesn't say that. It shows a picture of the green pepper, but I'm not quite sure which ones it means. So the bell pepper, 90% of them have pesticides, but it does have less residue than all the others here. So that's what the report says. So 90% of them. So either way, I try to get at least non-GMO. They're hard to find organic peppers, but I do find them every once in a while, and I'll eat them. But for sure, I'm not eating the ones that don't say either non-GMO or organic. So next, we have like a bonus, right? We have a dirty bonus here. And it says cherry tomatoes, right? One of my favorite things to snack on. I also like to make pico de gallo, and I like to make bruschetta and things like that. So I always make sure I get cherry tomatoes in organic version that are not expensive, maybe $2, maybe $3 the most, and they're easy to get anywhere in organic, and they taste really good. So it's worth getting. But another one that was a dirty bonus was last year, 2017, was the hot pepper, the hot chili pepper, I guess, or jalapenos and things like that. And but 75% of them had pesticides. And the thing about hot peppers is that their pesticides are more toxic than any other pesticide on this list. So it's a very toxic pesticide. So keep that in mind. And when you're trying to make your selection for hot peppers. Okay, so that being said, we compare the list, right? We have the dirty dozen for 2018, dirty dozen for 2017, you can see here, but we also have the clean 15, the 2018's version of the clean 15. Now these are the fruits and vegetables with the least amount of residue found in their samples. So we cannot be fooled by that, and I'll explain that in just a few moments, but let's just go over them real quick. We have the avocado, sweet corn, pineapple, cabbage, onions, sweet peas, papaya, number 7, asparagus, mango, eggplant, honeydew, kiwi, cantaloupe, cauliflower, broccoli. These are all great foods. I eat a lot of these all the time, especially kiwis, really good electrolytes and stuff like that. I usually get the non-organic, the organic or non-GMO version of those. And I do get some of these that are non-organic because I feel like, especially the cruciferous vegetables like the broccoli and cauliflower and cabbage, they're pretty well protected. They have those leaves that kind of cross over each other and they grow big, and you take the leaves off and then you have the samples. But could that avoid all pesticides? Maybe not, but it's the least amount of, right? Because we're talking topically now, what's getting on there, and there's not going to be much residue in that version of it. All right, so now it's great that we can have these 15 here, that they're insect repelled and repellent, but why is that? So if you go back to a study back, it might have been early 2000s, when they were splicing scorpion poison in with cabbage, right? And when they were making GMO cabbage, all the cells in the cabbage had a little bit of poison from scorpion. So what happened is, naturally, when the bugs would eat it, they would die. Now, it's not enough poison to kill us right away. If we eat a leaf of it, we're not going to die. But over time we will. And there's several reports on there about that, and I believe it was done with corn as well. At least that's what my professor told me. And corn gets a lot of bad press, being that it's really bad if it's GMO. The bad press about it being non-GMO, it's going to be full of Roundup and things like that, which is pesticides, and that's true. That still does happen. It's really not about non-GMO. Is really not about the genetically modifying part that hurts us. It's just the food practices that those farmers follow or go by that's probably hurting us. It's not necessarily splicing the genes of the vegetable or the grain or the fruit. It's really about what else are they doing besides that. So anyone that's doing GMO food is probably doing other bad things. So that's really what we have to watch out for. I didn't look at the full report on these, but these are the ones that supposedly are safer to get. All right, so that's, you just have to keep your eye on that. Do your research. Check out Environmental Working Group. Check out this place, this other website called Take Part, where it give me the top most toxic fruits and vegetables, right? And I looked down this list, and there was like number 1 was apples, and this was in 2014. Number 1 was apples, 2 strawberries, 3 grapes, okay? 4 is celery. So a lot of the same things are here. 5 peaches and nectarines, 6 is bell peppers, 6 was spinach, 7 was bell peppers, 8 cucumbers, 9 cherry tomatoes, and 10 is kale. So all your leafy greens should be organic anyway. Again, not that much more expensive. So keep in mind when you're shopping for these things, some of these things are not that expensive in the organic version. I don't want to go through the whole list, but something like cabbage is not very expensive. It's organic. Something like cauliflower is very inexpensive if it's organic. So keep that in mind. Get as much organic as you can. Make that list for yourself. Think about, what can I add organic? What can I get that's not organic? That's not going to be so bad. So that might be some of these things on this list. So check that out. If you want, you can email me or leave a comment below, and I can send you a copy of this shopper's guide to the pesticides for the Dirty Dozen, and you get the Dirty 12 here and the Clean 15. I'll give you a hard version of this. Just send me an email. Let me know what you think. Of course, do your research. Check out Environmental Working Group. They're a great organization that does all these tests to protect us, to protect people from a lot of information that is not out there and that's not presented in like pop culture or everyday, Google searches, right? Environmental Working Group has their own database, really good stuff. Check them out, do your research, see what other splicing is going on, and, be a knowledgeable consumer. Don't just buy just because it's cheap, just because it's $1. If it's $1, it's $1 for a reason. And that goes with any food, any menu item for sure. So thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you like this information, and please share it. Please share it with anyone, with families, with young kids, and for yourself, or anyone looking to make a change and get healthier. They need this information. So get it out there. Click like, share it, leave comments below, and of course subscribe if you can. All right, I have more new content coming up. I've been out for a while because a lot of different changes, and I had to move again, and now things are crazy. But now I'm settled in and things are looking up. So again, my name is Charles here at Nutrition 101, and thank you for watching. We'll talk to you again real soon.